he also went in front of Congress to try and get rid of the mafia.
Here in Vegas.
We should have kept the mafia here in Vegas. They say, yeah, they say actually it was better in this way.
So we are now inside the little ranch house from the beginning. And what do we have over here? Ranch history. Oh wow. 1834 to 1864, so 1874 to the present. Oh, nice. Hey, little restroom over here. Nice. Good rack. So we got Chester's Lawyer, Barnington Ranch. Oh, nice. Little horse saddle. I feel like I'm inside someone's house. Hello. How you doing? Is it okay if I... Huh?
You're just visiting the park?
Yeah, just exploring it, yeah.
Have you been here before?
Never before, first time.
And do you live in Vegas?
Yeah, I live in Vegas.
How long have you been in Vegas?
It's been a minute. It's been like 7, 8 years.
Yeah, I was here a long time too before we discovered it.
I didn't even know this existed.
But, you know, we're not fully open, but we are partly open, and we're opening more and more as time goes on. So this is the historic house part, or the visitor center, whichever you like to call it. We used to have a gift shop, but it's closed because of COVID. It does open at the weekends.
Okay.
And it's just, you can even peek in and see if any of this stuff.
Is it okay if I...
I think so. Now, none of it's there.
Is it okay if I film it?
Huh?
Is it okay if I film it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go.
And look, here's the history of the place, the different owners. The state bought this place 1974, so it's been a state park since then. But before that, it was privately owned by different people. The most famous being Howard Hughes.
Nice.
Have you ever heard of him?
Sounds familiar. Howard Hughes.
He was very famous in his day. If you saw the movie The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, if you haven't seen it, see it, because it's the life story of him. He was
Howard Hughes.
A genius, and he discovered, you know, Summerlin.
Yes.
He owned Summerlin, the entire
city
area.
Oh, wow.
Summerlin. Yeah, he called it Summerlin because Summerlin is his mother's maiden name. The Hughes Tool Company still overseas, or whatever. I'm sure people who buy houses there own the houses, but I don't understand what he owns. But anyway, when he bought the whole of Summerlin, they thought he was going that way anyway. But, you know, and then it turned out to be very, very valuable.
Okay.
Anyway, he was, these are probably things you haven't heard of. The spruce goose is a huge airplane. He owned TWA, which
Okay.
was like Southwest Airlines.
Like an
today,
airliner?
But it was an international. It
Oh.
went, yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was an engineer. His father was also an engineer, and his father made a bit, what do I call them? An oil bit for the machine that revolutionized the taking of oil up out of the ground.
Okay.
So they were multi-millionaires.
The
And
black
he was-
gold?
Huh?
The black gold?
The black gold.
Yeah.
Yes. Texas tea.
Texas tea. Oh, what a lovely tea.
So anyway, they were very wealthy. The Hughes-The company exists to this day. When he bought this ranch, he bought it for his wife, and I'll show you a picture of the wife.
Okay.
She would not live with him in Vegas. He owned 6 casinos, and he lived in the Desert Inn.
Hughes.
He had the whole floor, the 6th floor or something of the Desert Inn. And he also went in front of Congress to try and get rid of the Mafia.
Here in Vegas.
We should have kept the Mafia here in Vegas. They say. Yeah, they say actually it was better in this way. Corporations very greedy.
Yeah.
And you know, you could get meals for a couple of dollars all day long when the Mafia owned it, because all they were interested in was gambling.
Right.
Make you gamble, they fed you. Now it's a different kind of.
That's what I read, that some of these mafia like owners, they were like mafias, but they cared about it.
Yes, they
about the
cared.
employees.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't cost them, or you ended up.
Funny story, you probably know it. I used to work security. We had a code for like people kicking people out. 1080, I think. Do you know what that means?
No.
I think it started from mafia, from people like 1080. I believe it's
Nixon.
10 feet above, below the ground, 80 miles away from the city.
Away.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And they probably did. They say.
Yeah, probably is.
Like if the dead ever arrives, the desert will be full.
It was so many people. So this is Hughes.
Different owners. And it started off after the Civil War with this guy, Wilson was his name. Now he adopted 2 Paiute boys who, the Paiutes are the Native Americans in this area. They have a reservation up there north, if you go up 95 towards Mount Charles.
Yeah, like passing it?
On the other side,
I've been there before. Yeah.
And to this day, there's Wilsons in the tribe.
They're still living there.
They're still living there. Like,
Oh, wow.
past, you know, they went back to the Paiutes and, you know.
They also sell like chewing tobacco in there, right? Like there's a gas station.
I think
Yeah.
they sell it.
I think so.
I haven't been up there a long time, but they used to have a smoke shop.
It's a smoke shop, yeah.
Yeah, and you would
like
go
a
in
gas
and buy
station, yeah.
cheaper there,
Oh, wow.
I guess, no taxes or something. So anyway, so for a time it was owned by the Paiutes, these 2 boys, the ranch, because he passed away and left it to them. He was a man before his time, because in those days the whites weren't very friendly with the Native Americans.
Yeah.
So he actually left them the ranch, and they were at one time were the richest guys in the valley.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, they sold, it had different owners. This guy here was the one who built this house, 1948, this house was built. Before that, it was the cabins, which you can see behind, they're still there.
Okay.
So, and he made this out of recycled materials, this guy.
Oh, wow.
The stones are all from the canyon. The sandstone. Bricks here are from Old Vera Street. They were demolishing a chapel somewhere, and you got the rafters and all that. So, you know, in being economic minded, he probably spent more hauling all this stuff up here. This was one of the owners, and he was the furrier to the stars. This is, I think, Marlene Dietrich. He was from this area, so he knew this area. When he bought it so that the boys here could always remain. They got into a little financial trouble, the boys, overspending, getting big machinery and stuff like that. So he rescued them, but they were in the codicils of the deeds.
Okay.
The Native American fellows were always to live here till they died. So he had the idea of raising chinchillas running around wild here. Well, the coyotes took care of his chinchillas for dinner. So eventually he goes back to Hollywood. He sells it to this guy who built this house and so on. This is a German actress. She owned it for a while. Actually, she was a wonderful owner because she really rode with the, she had horses, cows, raised vegetables, fruits, all that. Very profitable in her day.
Ooh, nice.
And then she sold it to Howard Hughes, who had no interest in the place except to get her to come up. She didn't like Vegas. She wasn't going to live with him in a casino. So he thought if he buys this lovely green area,
she's gonna love me.
She's gonna love me. She's gonna come up here. She said, "No, I prefer Hollywood." So that was it.
So this is the man, huh?
That's him. That's Howard Hughes.
Is he the guy who passed away on the airplane accident outside, like Sandy Valley or something like that?
I don't know if I know they were trying to get him back. No, he passed away, I think, in Texas. They're originally from Texas. Now, he became very strange. If you watch that movie, it's very interesting. He became almost like Michael Jackson, where they go off their rockers. They're just, he was, first of all, he flew his own planes. He invented planes. He invented the spruce goose. He didn't invent the first plane, but he was an engineer, so he would say, let's say the wing has to be longer and the lift will be better.
Make it more efficient?
Yes, so he was very
improve upon it.
He was very smart. So smart that they tip over the edge and they become crazy.
Oh.
So like the fingernails was down here and the hair was down, that kind
okay.
of, anyway, pathetic because he was such a
good person?
Yeah, a genius kind of man, but he broke every bone in his body. If you can get a hold of the movie, you'll see he would test flight his own planes. And they would say, oh, you have engineered that wrong, let's say, and it's not going to lift off the ground, but it would, maybe for a couple of miles and then crash.
Then crash it.
So he would, so he had a lot of relying on painkillers. And so he didn't eat, and he was less than 100 pounds. He was 6'4" when he died, and he became to a sad end for such an interesting man.
Oh, wow.
So then the state, 1974, the state decided to buy it, which was a good thing because Fletcher Jones, the car dealership fella, he bought it and he wanted to make half-acre estates. You could, buy your half-acre and make a house. So, and then the people said, Las Vegas said, no, we don't want all these houses out here. There's not enough water and all that. So that's when the state
bought it?
Bought it, yeah. So it's ours now.
Yay. Welcome to my house.
Yes, yeah, you can come live. I certainly would if they gave me the chance.
If they gave me the keys, I'll be here every day. Is there any cool stories about the little spring in the background?
What do you mean the little spring?
Because I was taking the trail and probably like, I don't know,
well, in
100 feet.
These whole mountains, of the Spring Mountains, there's 52 of water springs. We have 6 on this ranch.
Oh.
They made, that guy who built the house made a lake, man-made lake up here.
Really?
I don't think you can get to it right now because of COVID, they closed down a lot. But he dammed them together to create this lake. Lots of irrigation, like if you come back in the spring and the summer, the fields are very green. Mm-hmm. So a lot of irrigation goes on here. Right next door, we used to have a place called Bonnie Springs.
Bonnie Springs, yeah?
Yeah.
I've been there before.
That has been sold. And there's
it's private
no
now?
Springs anymore. And it has been sold to a developer. who has the same intention of building homes there, but very expensive homes, multi-million-dollar homes. So I don't know if it will fly, because it didn't fly for here.
Oh, okay.
So maybe the people will get involved and stop it. Who knows?
We get it back, perhaps.
Yeah. What it would be, I don't know, because it used to be, I'd only been there one time. It used to be where you could bring your children, and they had a petting zoo, and they had a little like cowboy acting thing going on.
Oh, really?
It
like
was
a little
nice
recreational?
Yeah. But Bonnie died just about 2 years ago, and her children sold it for millions, and they weren't interested in keeping it up. So anyway, that's gone. But there's a little town beside it. Have you been to Blue Diamond?
Blue Diamond, I have.
Yeah, that's a lovely little town.
It's like super tiny.
Yeah, I like it there. But it's, I guess, when it's first started, which I don't know when it first started, it was a lovely place and a reasonably priced place to live. Now, because there's hardly any land left, it's very expensive. Yeah.
That's a funny thing though, because I don't come here often, but when I come, it's like nobody in Blue Diamond. It's like empty.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm assuming it's like vacation houses for people bought or something.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
So yeah, feel free, walk around. This is the showcase of the guy who bought this ranch and made the house, Chet Locke. And he was really into horse racing. Now, there's not in your day, and barely in my day, so you can imagine how old he is. There was an actor called Don Amici.
Don Amici.
And the two of them were very into parading,
horse racing?
Yeah, horse racing, all that kind of stuff. So this is his outfit. This is what the poor horse had to carry all this stuff.
That's probably like handmade, huh?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I think so.
I'm sure the weight of it is something else.
Yeah.
That might be, one of those guys might be down in the he was in a movie with Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
I mean, he was an old guy. He's passed away now, but not that long ago. Where they, what's his name? Saturday Night Live guy. You never hear of him. Don Aykroyd.
Okay.
Don Aykroyd. So that, I mean, Eddie Murphy, so it's not that old, but this was, and they had, I guess this was racing colors, white and red. So at one time, the top was red.
Oh.
That was and what else can I tell you now? The ovens here were put in by the Hughes-The company. So that's one of the contributions of Howard.
General Electric.
General Electric. Nice. And I think at that time the huge engines, and maybe even to this day, I don't know, the huge engines on the airplane were General Electric. So there was a connection between him and General. And this is the guy who built the house here. This is the way it looked in their day. But it's been modernized when Howard Hughes came along. And these ovens still work.
Oh, really?
Because at Christmas time we bake in them.
Because I cooked them,
Or we used to. Well, yeah, last year, COVID stopped everything. We used to have, Christmas for children and stuff up here.
Like
in
big
the house,
reunions?
and Santa would come, and
That's
Mrs.
awesome.
Claus, and now we didn't have anything last year.
I'm actually surprised that when the rich guy that bought this place, when he bought it, he didn't like put gold and marble everywhere.
Yeah.
He left it pretty much the same.
Yes, rustic. And
Rustic,
they say it was patterned off, there is a house in Los Angeles, like Hollywood or somewhere, that it was part of. I'm a movie buff, so
you are?
all
Nice.
the movies, and Leonardo DiCaprio, I would go watch him reciting the phone book. he's wonderful.
702?
Yeah.
125?
Yes, so we start off with the A's.
That's funny.
there was a movie not too long ago called something about Hollywood, actually. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I heard about it.
There was a house there, if you noticed. It was supposed to be Sharon Tate's house. It kind of had a look of like this. So it might have been the houses in the 50s or whenever that was, 60s, was when Manson.
Yeah, I think it was the 60s, wasn't it?
60s.
Yeah.
So
the Manson family.
Fashion in that time.
Okay,
Although
makes sense.
Was made in 1948, so they were building those kind of homes for a while. That was, to me, was another great movie.
Is that where you're from? Los Angeles?
Me? No, I did live there for a while.
Oh, nice.
Oh God, that was a long time ago. I'm originally from Ireland. So, but I've been in America a long time. Yeah.
That's awesome. What would you say you like the story more? Ireland? Like the history?
Oh, Ireland has great history.
It does?
Oh yeah. You know, first history with the English.
With the English?
Yeah. To this day. Well, up to the 1960s, 70s, the IRA, have you ever heard of them? That's the Irish Republic Army. There's like a branch of them that's very anti-English, you know. So every now and then they raise their head and bomb something or other.
I heard about it, yeah. Not long ago, the bombing happened.
Yeah, they killed the Queen's brother-in-law, I think. And he's some relative anyway. They got him out in a boat.
Oh, wow.
The history between Ireland and England is not good, you know. So, but you know, if you want to carry these things around in your head, and sometimes people do, they from generation to generation, and then, you know, it still harbors hatred and all.
They can let it go.
Huh? They won't.
They can't let go.
No, they won't. They never, because 6 counties of Ireland still belong to England. So they will never let it go. And then, probably, if they got back to 6 counties, they wouldn't know what to do with them anyway.
Right.
Because they'd have to support them.
They couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
That's human history.
Huh?
Human history.
Yes. Oh, well, over and over again. You never learn.
History repeats itself.
Yeah. And we probably will never learn.
Yeah, probably not. Well, thank you very much for your time. What's your name?
Noel.
Noel, Octavia. Thank you very much.
There you go. Okay.
I'm gonna.
In the springtime.
Oh yeah, I definitely will.
Yeah.
I usually just get like a group of friends to go explore places.
Yes.
And today I'm like, let's see what I can find.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely place. Yeah.
Oh, it is lovely. And the house will get more open. See, some of it's closed because of social distancing. Like that's a narrow little hallway. And you go into bedrooms and stuff. And we have what they call a secret room here. So, and that's the big attraction. Most of people come to see that. And it was built by the German actress.
Oh, wow.
And she came from World War II.
World War II?
Where they had secret rooms.
It was necessary to have them? Yeah.
Well, they would hide the Jewish people.
Right.
So they would, the wall and the portable. I'm actually reading a book about it right now, where so many people had to live in a narrow space. So the Germans, you know.
Wouldn't be found. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be back soon.
Yes, do.
Yeah.
We'll give you more history.
Oh, yeah.
There's always either one of us or a ranger here. And, you know, everybody will tell you the history. With our own history.
Yeah. I mean, that's great because everyone gets their own flavor.
Yes. And the rangers are terrific because they really have it down pat, you know what I mean? They go,
and they're like passionate too?
That's their job to research and all that.
Cool, awesome. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome.
For now, you're going to go to the governor's house and ask him for the keys for the house.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where's my keys? Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.